but I don't kind of go all out, because I think just a free-form show where I interact with the audience would be fun, but I like to have some sense of structure and journey, I think. Otherwise it can all get a bit samey. And with a character like Ada, who's quite over the top, you need those moments of light and shade, and you need to feel when it's building, and then as the audience you know how to respond, but you also then you need a glimpse into her. In a longer show you don't need that in a shorter set, but in a longer show you need moments of quiet, and constant interaction would probably lead to me chasing laughs, and could end up being quite a bitty thing. So yeah, probably about 80% interactive in a live show, in a scripted show. In a cabaret show, probably 50-50, because obviously I've got to keep to time and know what I'm doing, but I'm there to play with the audience. So but I never go completely off piece. I'm never completely without a script.
And when you're playing at lots of sort of stand-up sets as well, do you adjust things a little bit? But you mentioned a bit about cabaret and your hour show, you adjust a little bit, but how do you adjust it to the stand-up circuit, where, I mean, there is a lot of different acts on there, but most of it is sort of set up punchline. And how do you sort of, a lot of it was stories, but how do you fit in those sort of lineups? How do you balance your act with that?
I think it's really about looking at the audience and looking at what they're reacting to. And that's kind of the shape of the room, where they are, how drunk they are, what time of day it is, who the other acts are on the bill, what they're laughing at and what they're responding to. Because I have a number of different possibilities that I can do. And if I just need to come on and be more authoritative, or I don't know, slightly more crude, or slightly more set up joke, then I can do that. I'd rather be interactive, but if they're not up for that, or they need time to adjust, then I'll try and accommodate them. So really I try and watch where they are.
The UK circuit, like they have the mainstream circuit and they have the, I don't know how to say this because I'm worried I'll get into trouble with this. The urban circuit, is that the right thing to say?
I don't know either.
but there's also the cabaret circuit as well, isn't there? So there's the variety circuit, and how do you sort of develop your bits? Because being that you do all sorts of different things with it, do you go to lots of new material nights as well, or what do you do to test these things out?
I often test them out depends. I'm often testing out if I'm emceeing and an audience is going really well, or the audience is really liking me, then I'll try and throw a few bits in. I mean, obviously this has been much harder over the whole kind of last year, because on Zoom you don't really want to experiment that much because you're not getting that feedback and you don't want to lose heart in a new bit. But since we've been back doing live shows, I've tried very much in my live shows to add as much new material as I can. I guess again it's about thinking about the audience. And I mean I do the Monday Club at Museum of Comedy, which is a really great place for trying out in a lovely room. I guess it's also because I do magic shows and then cabaret shows and then variety shows and then comedy shows. So each audience is different and is expecting something different, and in different venues as well. So it is about framing Ada for that audience, and that necessarily gives me a different focus. So for example, during lockdown, I started doing singing, which is something I'd wanted Ada to do for years, but was too chicken really to do. And then so she started doing it, and now I'm getting gigs for Ada to come and sing places. So that's another whole thing. So that'll be much less chat and actually then about the songs. So I think in terms of developing new stuff, it's partly about my own boldness in doing it. And then if you do it with confidence, the audience is probably likely to go with you, at least at the beginning, for goodwill purposes.
But that sounds like you're in a very exciting and fun position in a way, but challenging, because one thing that I'm a bit jealous of the magicians is that whenever they get a private show or they do a lot of shows, is they always, like, they get an hour to do all their stuff. With stand-ups, they do like 20 minutes. And it's you can try out so much more in that time. But you play so many different circuits. I mean, like different types of rooms. That must be exciting.
It's exciting. It's hard to be boxed. Like, I'm really lucky with my agent that my agent has a lot of variety acts, because I had that when I was first starting. I was trying to get representation. People were like, well, what is it that you do? And I had people going, well, I'll represent you if you're just going to be a magician, or if you're just going to be, and I was like, no, I want to do all those things. I want to be versatile. So it can be hard for people to box you, but it also means that you are working, you've got more opportunities to get work and do well in different spaces. And try new stuff out and stretch the character and see where she works. So yeah, I enjoy it. I really enjoy being that versatile, because I enjoy watching a variety of things. And actually you learn such a lot from working with different performers. You learn from stand-ups, and you learn from cabaret artists, and you learn from magicians, and you learn from variety people, and yeah, and so that just, it gives the character, it kind of softens all her edges, and what you want is to be strong and versatile and successful. So I suppose the more experience you can get in front of different audiences and in different rooms, the better, I think.
Yeah, and then you don't make excuses. Or like, one of the things sometimes I hear from performers is they blame the audience if it hasn't gone well. I mean, sometimes it is their fault, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's part of the fun, isn't it? It's a learning process. Like when you get too much in the process of blaming external things, you don't take responsibility for what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say less the audience. Often you blame the room, or the sound equipment. The room layout just affects audiences so much. It really changes the way that they hear and see and interact with performers. So I think yeah, I mean, yes, you don't want to blame the audience or blame external noise or any of those things, but you can learn, if you can get over the kind of personal feeling of, or one's own defensiveness, then you can learn exactly why something didn't work. Or was that you? Was that because they were drunk? Was that because they couldn't hear you? Was that because they couldn't see you?
We're going to talk about this. No, so where were we? I forgot.
Oh, we just talked about blaming different things. I was saying you need to get over your defensiveness about it, and actually then begin to work out what the issues were. And the issues may be technical, and they may be about you, and they may be about audience distractions. And it may be that a certain audience doesn't, I don't know, your voice doesn't work with them, or your whatever it is. So it's trying to analyze and make it better, I think. It's just a learning process of trying to get over that. But yeah, I don't think you should blanket blame anything. But you also shouldn't take it all on your own shoulders. If they're cabaret tables and everyone's facing in the wrong direction, they can't see you, then they're probably not going to interact very well.
It's a bit almost like the Katy Perry saying, don't be too hard on yourself or the situation. Like, enjoy the experience and just keep getting better and better, and just enjoy the journey.
I think that's what's so good about Edinburgh. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's what's so good about Edinburgh, because you, as a cabaret performer, which is not the same when you're an actor, I don't know what it's like when you're just a straight stand-up, you end up gigging pretty much all day because you do spots in different shows. And so you have no time to dwell on, well, that didn't go well, because you go, well, in an hour I've got to get across town and do another show or another show. And so doing that number of spots builds a resilience in you. And then actually the things that stick with you at the end of the night are probably the really important things, not the little things you're going to mull over from venue to venue. So being able, just gigging more builds up your resilience as well as your expertise.